My name's Janelle and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing how to make your very own beeswax wraps. Beeswax wraps are a great alternative to plastic wrap as they are a more sustainable option and can be reused over and over to keep your food fresh, all while making your food look really pretty as well. I was kindly gifted this DIY beeswax wraps kit by a Tasmanian brand that I absolutely love called Sustomi, who, if you haven't already heard of them, you should totally check them out as they have some amazing products that help you to create a more waste-free life. So here's a little look at the beeswax wraps that I made with this kit. I've been using beeswax wraps for a while personally, but I've never had a go at making them for myself, and I was so surprised at how easy they were to make. So here's how to make your own beeswax wraps. First things first, you need to pick out your fabrics. This project is a great way to use up some of your scrap fabric. You just need to make sure that the fabric you use to make the wraps is 100% cotton. For this project you will need your cotton fabric, a few sheets of grease-proof baking paper, a cheese grater, your DIY beeswax kit, a measuring tape, a pair of scissors, and you will also need an iron. To measure out my wrap squares, I found my erasable marker really helpful for this next step. Using a measuring tape and the marker, mark out the size of the square you'd like your wraps to be. Here are the sizes I made my wraps. For the small wrap, I cut a 15 by 15 centimetre square. For the medium one, I cut a 25 by 25 centimetre square. And for the large one, I cut a 30 by 30 centimetre square. I have these measurements converted into inches in the description below this video if you'd like to check those out. Next, it's time to open up your DIY beeswax wrap kit. You can find a link to the Sustomi one I'm using down in the description of this video. And start grating your beeswax. Grating the beeswax creates little beeswax pellets that we're going to use to melt onto the fabric squares. Once grated, cover your ironing board with an old towel and place a sheet of baking paper on top of it. Take one of your fabric squares and place it onto the sheet of baking paper. Then spread your wax pellets evenly over the fabric. Cover the fabric and the wax with another sheet of baking paper and use an iron on its hottest setting to begin slowly ironing the wax onto the fabric. As you iron, the wax will melt and spread evenly. You should be able to see pools of wax through the paper that will spread as you move the iron. Once you've peeled the wrap off the baking paper, hold your freshly waxed fabric for a few seconds to harden slightly, then place it onto a cooling rack to dry completely. Repeat this process for each fabric square. You can check how the wax has spread by carefully lifting the baking paper. If you notice any dry bits of fabric, then just place a few more of the pellets onto the fabric and re-iron to squeeze the wax around until it's distributed evenly. After about 5 minutes, your wraps should be completely dry and ready to use. As a last minute decision, I finished off my wraps by trimming the fraying edges with some rounded pinking shears. It only took a couple of minutes to do, and I think it was totally worth it, as it gave them the cutest scalloped edge. So, how do they look? I'm so happy with how these wraps have turned out, and I can't wait to reduce my use of plastic wrap. To use the wraps, just simply use the warmth of your hands to soften the wraps, and they'll stick to themselves or to the container you're covering. Also, I thought I'd just quickly give you a few little tips on how to look after and maintain your beeswax wraps. To look after them, just avoid heat. Don't use hot water when cleaning them. Don't put them in the microwave. Instead, to wash them, just wipe them down with cold or lukewarm water and try to wash them as soon as possible after using them as you can. Also, if you do have any leftover wax, then don't throw that out, as you can use the wax to extend the life of your old wraps a little bit. If you start to notice your wraps wearing out in areas, then just grate a little bit of the wax and use the same process as I showed in the video to remelt some wax onto your wraps to extend the life of them. Once the wraps have reached the end of their life, however, don't throw them in the bin. You can cut them up and pop them in your compost. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do have a go at making these wraps for yourself, then be sure to tag me if you share them on Instagram, as I would love to see. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching!